batch of viewers have already gone into the Accra International Conference Center and watched the expose that is set to shake the foundation of this country. Even before this happened, we did know that the President of the Republic of Ghana has given specific directions on what should happen. He had actually called for interrogations to be engaged in when it comes to what's happening in football administration in Ghana here. Now, the next thing we know is going to happen today is that another batch is going to watch this all-important event. This is number 12, the expose by ace investigative journalist and wonderful man of all standards, who's a corruption fighter and anti-corruption crusader, Anas Aremia Anas, which is supposed to happen pretty soon here. Now, we'll be going to the Accra International Conference Center, gauge the mood there. I was there earlier today. I couldn't actually get in because the place was full, even though I hoped I could watch the first part. Interestingly, thousands trooped into that venue to go and catch a glimpse of what is perhaps the biggest expose to reform football in Ghana. But is corruption left to or in the arms of only football? That's an issue that we'll be interrogating later on. And how else are we going to roll it out into the bigger emblems so that we can go to the other parts and deal with it more importantly? We will soon be going to the Accra International Conference Center so that we can get better appreciation of what's happening there now. But this is Upfront. My name is Raymond Aqua. My guest today is one man who, on Monday, June 4th, you know what June 4th is about, right? In 1979, young officers brought in a revolution to change the face of Ghanaian politics and introduce 3 key words: ridding the state of corruption, where we are today; 2, probity and accountability. Today we are asking, years down the line, over 3 decades down the line, how far have we come with the fight against corruption? Of course, this is also happening the day that analysis expose is being shown. How far have we come with showing that we can be accountable as a state, and probity are still key elements of State Ghana's engagement? And was the revolution necessary, irrelevant? Were they beneficiaries of these? All of this woven together is what the crux of today's Upfront is going to be like. Osaime, Major Retired Boachijan, is my guest in studio. And as I did tell you, we should be going to the phone lines and getting to appreciate what's happening on the grounds there pretty soon. But first, let me welcome my guest. Welcome, sir, to Upfront.
Thank you.
I hope you are doing well, sir.
Oh, well...
It's been a long time since you spoke in this country. How have you been doing?
Oh, well, there has to be an end to speaking and get certain things done.
You are a man who cannot be cowed. You are not one known to pander to public opinion and change your thoughts.
Yes.
You are very vociferous, even then.
Yes.
At the rest of your whole life,
yes.
What is keeping you away from sharing the light and also sharing opinion on important matters in this country?
You see, some of us have seen so much that we have begun to lose confidence in mere words.
Okay.
And we are now looking for action, effective action to tackle the problem, rather than just talking and complaining and all that, nothing happening, and worse things are happening. And just before I came in, somebody threw a book at me, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Former Deputy High Commissioner of Britain.
Craig
Murray.
Okay.
Yeah. I published a book in which page 124 to 25, he has indicted the Rawlinses household on the corruption that went into building La Cuckoo, what they call Abadi Beach Hotel.
Oh, okay.
And the Star Hotel and all that. It's there, documented. And yet, I even didn't hear about it until this whole Ruha started. Somebody, drew my attention to it. You see, I've given you a photocopy of it, and when I read it, I was amazed.
We'll come to that, but let's start from the top of it.
Yeah.
I mean, today is the expose day. Many Ghanaians will have to catch a glimpse of what's supposed to be how rotten and corrupt our football administration and some other people are in this republic.
Yes.
What do you feel generally about this?
Unfortunately, it's not just about football administration only. If you went to secondary schools, headmasters, head teachers, everybody is caught in this whole canker going around. So we will need to go beyond the sensation of exposing it and start thinking through to solve the problem. Because it's there. It's knowing that everybody, it's affecting everybody in this society. And like you said, some of us who have actually taken steps to want to do something about it, when we hear things like this, then we get very upset. Our efforts in vain? Did we take the right decisions? Did we move the country along the correct path? Then why are all these things happening? Before we come to even the modus operandi, you see, if Anas was an editor of a newspaper, for instance, would he have been able to do what he did without being dragged to court, sue for defamation, and all that? These questions must also be confronted.
We will come to that, but give me a second and let me give you a feeling of what's happening on the ground there. Yeah. That is the Accra International Conference Center. Ernest Manu is standing by with the latest there. Ernest, are people still queuing to catch a glimpse of what's supposed to be the second time this is showing at that particular venue?
Yes, Raymond, we still have a lot of people queuing, hundreds of them outside. I'm just at the foyer of the AICC. We have hundreds of people outside who want to move into the main auditorium to watch the latest investigative piece by Anas Arimayo. Anas, already I am told, just like it happened initially, the auditorium is full again, and they wouldn't be able to take more people. And so if you're out there at this time, it means you have to wait for the next section, which should be around 10 p.m. And so that is what is happening, Raymond. People who watched at the first instance are also around. We'll take the thoughts of a few of them, but that is what is happening right now, Raymond.
I want to know what really is the case now. Are we having some of them able to share some of their thoughts with us? Are they as worried as people have only seen teasers about what's supposed to be happening with this video? So if you can talk to some of the people and they're sharing their thoughts on this for us.
Okay, so we'll speak to some of them. Let me speak to a colleague journalist. She's a sports journalist with a state broadcaster. And hello, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
There's so much shock in your face.
There is, I must say.
So what exactly are your concerns with this video?
I'm still trying to find words. I'm thinking that if the referees can, do this, just to help clubs, as low as how much, 500 Ghana cedis, 700 Ghana cedis. I think 1,000 Ghana cedis, I'm not sure if I remember 1,200.
Yeah, 1,500.
1,500 as well. And so it's just a good opportunity for us to regroup and then look again into our football business here to ensure that we clean it up. And clean it up very well.
Okay. I see Fred Adbenyo here. Fred, just a quick one. Are you going to watch the video?
Yes, I'm not coming to watch the video.
You're not coming to watch the video. So we are live on UPfront with Raymond Aqua. What are expectations ahead? I know you might have received some info from those who watch. Your national organizer, Kofi Adams, was here.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't meet him. I've not received any information.
Okay.
I don't want to receive any information ahead of me seeing the video myself. Okay. I want to see with my own eyes so I can speak to it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. That's Fred Adbenyo of the NDC. He is a communicator. We'll speak to Adam Adbana as well. He was here to watch the premiere. And then we'll speak to Jerome. Jerome joins us on set. Jerome was in the video, by the way, but for the very good reasons. He was interviewed by Tiger Eye. We'll pick his thoughts very quickly. Adam, what do you make of the revelations in that documentary?
Shocking, and in fact, I'm speechless. Midway documentary, I started weeping for Ghana as a country, weeping for genuine football lovers and people who work to make an impression in the game of football. That footballers wake up at dawn to train, play so hard, and then results of matches are decided by a few corrupt and greedy individuals. But what was shocking was the recklessness and the greed on the part of the GFA president. And you see, he revealing all those about he and politicians, he was talking about the fact that people perceive they as corrupt, then he went and acted as such. But let me say that I am not by the response of the president of Ghana. We all know how assertive the president is.
Well, let me just state, for those who did not watch, the president did say that he knew nothing about what Kwesi Nyantakyi was talking about. He had not done business with him, and he was very much shocked at the things that he said in the video when Tiger IPI interviewed him. I am saying that we all know how assertive President Akufo-Addo is. But in this instance, we also know how he was even struggling to put words together. And the kind of information or details that Kwesi Nyantakyi gave out, it is an insider information. Look, the judge has an idea, insight into contracts, even more than he knows about Ghana football. How they intend to embark, how a certain ministry has been created for one individual and all of that. This is our public knowledge. Then again, to the extent that the president traveled, the hotel in President Nyantakyi could give that information out to the said investors. It said that information. He couldn't have been bragging for what purpose? With a GFU president of CAF and a FIFA executive committee member and all of that. What will he be bragging for? He knew what he was talking about. Nyantakyi is a lawyer for so many years. He will not and brag about this. Well, all of this will be put, to our judges. I'm sure prosecution will start very soon. But it wasn't all bad. There were people who resisted the temptation from Tiger IPI. That is something to celebrate. That is an indication, or it's a vindication for Anas, because initially people like Kennedy Japan, who has been mentioned in the video, made us to believe that his methodology should be questioned because it was entrapment. Now here is the case, the same method was used, but some people refused to accept it. Those who accepted it, it's a practice they have been involving in. So they weren't trapped into doing it. All right, thank you very much, Adam Adba. Now we will speak to Jerome. Jerome used to be a communications member of the Asante Kotoko, and he was featured by Tiger IPI. Jerome, you are with Kotoko, and seeing that a lot of your matches were fixed, all of the hard you put in went down the drain, shocked?
Shocked and bemused. I mean, at a point I wanted the video to end. I mean, I was watching with Benjamin Willie Graham, a colleague, and he held me because I was shivering. I was shocked at a lot of the things I saw in there. I couldn't believe, for instance, that referees that have gone to the level of FIFA, I mean, having FIFA. And if you are in the refereeing business, you know that the FIFA badge is about the highest you can get. If referees could go to that level and exchange that badge with goats and sheep and oil and rice, I was wondering that, is it a matter of poverty or hunger that will lead a referee to that point? I was so disappointed, but I wasn't surprised at... Why is that? I wasn't surprised at certain things. For example, referee Samuel Suka, he officiated Kotoko versus Hearts of Oak. And some of us said that that match, the performance of the referee was so bad that if it wasn't a case of incompetence, something went wrong somewhere. Someone gave him money to perform the way he did, because all of us saw it. And I remember we splashed his photos with the assistant referees on our front page, and people close to him insulted us that we were embarrassing the referee. I'm telling those people today that with the evidence Anas has given us, the embarrassment Suka has had today is bigger than what we gave him. You feel vindicated by this? Oh, of course, because, I mean, I said somewhere that after that game, I said that if I were Suka that day, I would have given my badge, my FIFA badge, to dogs, because the performance was so bad. And we've seen it here. Look, if people in our football, especially the referees that we've seen here, the administrators that we've seen here, and some of them took bribes as low as 300 cedis. And I'm saying that if they care so much about their integrity, they should just quit. How about the approach of Anas? The whole issue about entrapment. Some, they had to go a number of times before they yielded, to the pressure. You think that it flies? It is a good approach? My brother, I think those that are talking about entrapment should come again. Maybe they should just keep quiet and come and watch the video. And I'll give you certain instances. Ladbridge, referee Ladbridge. If you talk about entrapment, I will not even agree. Because here was a man talking about his experience in the bribery. I mean, how he's been collecting bribes. Here was Safo Adade, who has been a referee for 12 years, talking about how he's been the middleman between referees taking bribes on their behalf. So how do you talk about entrapment?
Let's talk about going forward. I mean, for the NSA, all the top people were indicted in this video, from the public affairs director to the vice director of NSA, who was suspended by the vice president following the Australia. Going forward, how do you think? Do you join calls for, an overhaul of the FA, or that the people indicted should willingly resign?
That should be the first point. We should appeal to them to willingly go away, because there are serious issues of integrity that they will have to answer. And if they cannot offer answers, they just have to leave the system. You cannot take a goat, change the outcome of a match, and come back and tell me you were trapped. And the good thing for me, or for some of us, is that there were referees in there. I mean, there were match administrators, football administrators in there who rejected the office, which tells me that there are some in there who have integrity, who we can trust. And I think that the way forward, two ways. The FA has its own regulations concerning some of these things, which border on ethics. The ethics committee of the FA, the internal regulations of the FA should immediately begin to deal with the people we have seen in the video. And then secondly, if there is any avenue that the laws of the land, the laws of Ghana, can also take on these people, we should go in there and begin to activate that process. Right. But most importantly, Ghana football needs a new leader.
Thank you very much, Jerome. Jerome also featured in the documentary by Anas Anas. Raymond, I don't know if you can speak to some other people as well. We'll take this one, this very one. Lawyer Quincy joins us. What do you make of this?
At least, let's say the coaches have done well. In the 2 hours that I sat there wasn't any coach mentioned that the coach has received some bribe of a sort. But whichever way, we are in football, it affects us as an association. The sad aspect of it is our president, going the extra mile in saying that much.
You mean the GFA president?
The GFA president. Of course, if you look at it from the cursory point of view, one might come by the conclusion that, maybe the president had government in good thoughts. You understand? And then he had gone to look for investors into our country and all that. But he didn't cover his back to think that even if genuinely you are bringing investors into this country, the laws do not permit you to go and be demanding for money here and there.
But being a lawyer yourself, what do you make of the approach? We saw Tiger Eye approach some of the people a number of times before they yielded to the pressure. Do you think this is entrapment? I'm
happy you have asked me that question, but because I seem to be the only person talking about the entrapment today. I don't know if some people have also entered it. In fact, it was going to be the main topic to talk about. The fact is that I will suggest to him that in future, he should just be honest to himself also. We are human beings, and circumstances will compel and push us into doing so many mad things. Are you getting it? Coming from psychological background as well, human being, when motivated, at a certain point in time, will go out of their way to do certain things that naturally they wouldn't do. I am there, you come to me, you say I should assist you with this information, I'm able to do that. Now you want to appreciate me. I didn't ask you to give me anything, are you getting me? You want to appreciate me with 1,000 Ghana, 2,000 Ghana. We haven't bargained for anything. At a certain point, we saw some of the personalities even declining, taking anything. But then they still push them to take it. So you think that Anna should take a look at the approach? Fairness is key here. And we, the court of public opinion, when we are judging the people after today, we should give them the benefit of the doubt that ordinarily most of them wouldn't have gone their way to take such monies. But for the pressure that was coming from an environment that they never thought maybe somebody was videoing them or not. But the key thing that we should also watch out here is our economic circumstances. In Africa, ordinarily in football, we don't have much money in it.
So there should be more investment in football. That is what you are calling for.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Kwesi, for your time here. Raymond, so these are some few thoughts we picked here from the foyer of the Accra International Conference Center. The next session is underway, I'm told, and we still have lots of people out here who are waiting their turn.
Okay, so thank you so much, Ernest, there from the Accra International Conference Center, giving a few different opinions, different thoughts, but we who have not watched it yet got to appreciate what was being shown to the people out there. Stark corruption, very frightening levels within the Football Association, virtually bribery at the levels that makes all important matches fixed. So where you thought your players were going to play the game the way they ought to play it, it was prearranged in the room before they got to the field. Beyond that, the leadership of the FA president himself, and his commentary, rather frightening one that suggests that he is in the position to take some money and give to the president, talking to external people, or he perceived to be external people in this particular case. I'm coming back to you for a simple reason, and one of the reasons why I'm asking this question is because you have thought at the GIJ before.
Yeah.
Yes. Major Wachijan, yes. The question about the modus being used to investigate these things, what do you think about it? Entrapment or fair game?
No, but who decides this is entrapment? All of us are talking entrapment. Who has the authority to decide that what he did is an entrapment? In other words, it comes to the core of media trial.
Okay.
Media trial ultimately is unfair because there is no judge, there are no prosecutors, there's no cross-examination, so there's no means of testing rigorous the allegations be flying around.
If you hear what you're saying,
yeah.
Just a second.
Yes.
If you hear what they're saying, they are suggesting that some of the people refused the kind of bribe they're giving them on several occasions until they were pestered into taking it.
That is not the issue I'm addressing. What I'm saying is that corruption, my attitude to corruption is upheld because it will always be there. But if we are serious about confronting it, we need more, what do you call it? Anas. But they should be brought under legal control.
Okay.
So Parliament must move quickly.
Okay.
To sanction that activity itself, but channel it through to rigorous legal examination so that it doesn't cease to be accused of kangaroo court. Remember, I'm saying this because of emotion.
Yeah.
When we took over the country and we declared house cleaning,
yeah,
we wouldn't be expected
Generals
to
were executed.
use brooms to clean the country. We were to clean the country of corruption. And we set up legal procedures to do it. People's Court, pre-trial investigation team, and all of that. In the end, we were accused of kangaroo courts.
Yeah.
Now, even that, people are questioning. Now, there is no court in this matter. You know, and the danger is that you will risk destroying other people's reputation without giving them the chance to defend themselves. You see, we must not encourage it.
Okay.
We must not encourage it at all. Parliament must move quickly to create a situation where we need more anas, but they should be hemmed in. Their products should not be made to seem as a carnival, you know, going on. If you are serious to deal with corruption, then channel it through separate courts. If the traditional court, we don't trust them, special courts to examine and prosecute and give people a chance to defend or incriminate themselves so that lessons can be drawn that would survive permanently because we've done it.
Yeah. I'm asking this question, which is very much important to me.
Yes.
When you just suppose what happened in 1979.
Yes.
And we have heard this expression before, we shot people for less.
Yes.
And compared to the kind of corruption exposed in this kind of video and similar ones.
You see?
Do you feel that we have gotten anywhere good with our fight against corruption?
That is the danger that I am warning the country against. It is not true that we shot people for less. Nobody was shot for corruption. There is no law in this country to allow anybody to be shot for corruption.
Really?
No, there is no law.
Nobody was shot for having 2 television sets?
No. That is the danger that I'm trying to protect individuals against. We had 3 levels of our criminal justice administration. Those people who could attract capital punishment, those who should be locked up, and those who should have their properties, ill-gotten properties, confiscated.
Yeah.
Right? Now, those who were received capital punishment were held to account. Accountability was my creation for leading the Ghana Armed Forces into political arena where they had no business of doing it. Overthrowing a constitutionally elected government by the Criminal Code 1960 and subsequent constitutions is an illegal, high treasonable offense.
And this was also done by the military government.
1960 Criminal Code, I was in secondary school when it was enacted.
I'm saying that you sought to use a military government to execute others for coming through the barrel of the gun.
No. You see, not we sought to do, they were there. The situation was getting on. This is like someone who has taken a hostage sitting on the roof, and you want to go and persuade him to do. You don't go there with the Bible.
But by this logic, to be fair, this logic, one of you later on did a coup d'etat too.
Precisely. This is my whole concern, that if we don't streamline this and adopt a systematic approach to solving the problem, it won't go away. You cannot criminalize something today, decriminalize something that you criminalize today. It doesn't happen in law. You shouldn't do it. So if it's wrong, and I believe it's wrong, and then we need more tiger, what they call them?
Tiger eye.
That's right. But the activities should be streamlined so that innocent people can also be, because the law is presumed that nobody is presumed guilty until proof, it must be presumed innocent until proved guilty. What we are doing now is that we haven't been made to examine the facts. And everybody is, jamboree. No, it's not correct. We can't run a civilized society like that. There's corruption going on. I have been at the forefront of fighting corruption, and I'm still fighting it. If the methods we use were effective, won't be saddled with this thing that's going on.
Interesting.
So the time has come for us to re-examine our methods of approaching corruption in this country, and go beyond sensationalism and emotional claptrap and all that.
Resourcing the institutions of state, giving Stride and all the other institutions of state the right resources to work is what the president says you do. There's also Martin Amidi, who's supposed to be the special prosecutor.
Yes.
There's also the part where government is saying that they will prosecute all past officials who have actually taken monies from the state unjustifiably and have engaged in corruption one way or the other. From where you sit, is that the way to go?
There are two levels, the institutional approach and the courage. There are Chirac and all of that. But we don't seem to have the courage to equip them and push them to do what they have to do.
And who, when you say we don't, who is
the ultimate authorities?
Yeah, as in the president and the leaders.
The parliament,
have
a role to play in this, because they will have to chart policies that will control this kind of situation. They have to lead the charge, Now, if they are not doing it, you and me can't do it. The media alone, the media have taken the responsibility of doing this because what ought to be done in the public domain is not being done.
The state is failing in this role.
Pardon?
The state is failing in this role.
Exactly. The state is failing. The institutions of state are failing to protect us, to kill corruption or confront corruption. It becomes a lip service. It's a lip service, So I would appeal to the general public to calm down and let's prevail. We all have MPs in parliament. Put pressure on MPs.
It's interesting you are appealing to general public to calm down.
On this.
Some time ago, you have been supporting Let the Blood Flow.
No, I didn't support it. I stemmed it off, the tide, because I know what it could have done if I had given in to this kind of witch hunting.
Okay.
It's dangerous. I've been close to it. I've seen it at close range. If we don't take care and stop it now, innocent people are going to be destroyed. Their reputations are going to be destroyed beyond redemption. So let us have more anas there, but let's regulate them. Let parliament and institutions of authority take a cue from this and take the issue of fighting corruption seriously and create institutions to regulate it within legal the route. Otherwise, People are going to be destroyed. Innocent people are going to be caught in it and be destroyed.
There are some who say that we should actually sublet the entire corruption machinery of government to institutions like ANAS's Tiger Eye because they are more effective, they deliver more results.
But that's not enough.
Really?
Because, you see, ANAS is... people are being tried publicly now without a judge.
No, but right. They'll go to court. It is just a viewing of the evidence.
Why are we running ahead of court proceedings? These things could have been shown in the courtroom. And people could have seen it, followed the proceedings, cross-examinations. But right now, who is the judge there?
They will get to court. It's not gotten there yet.
Wait, I'm asking you, who is the judge there?
No, the people of this republic are going to judge for themselves what they see.
That's kangaroo court.
But you didn't have a problem with kangaroo courts in the 1979.
That's see, there's not even a court to call it kangaroo. I'm charitable to them.
Interesting.
There's not even a court to call kangaroo.
I get your point.
Yes.
Now, I want us to also examine the broader space. Governance as a whole, are we faring well?
It's a very loaded question, you know, in the sense that if you get a glass of water, half full, half empty. People will say it's half full, others will say half empty.
What do you say?
Me, I'm saying that it is not the governance itself that is the problem. It is the collective, the misery of collective poverty we are caught in. Because we have, even though we have had a freedom of independence, we still are not free to determine our own future. So we have been driven to collective poverty through commodity economy.
Okay.
You know, we don't control our cocoa. We grow it, we ship it. Even the chocolate, you can't buy. You understand? We don't control pricing our oil. We don't control anything that we should be controlling to decide our future. That's where the problem is. And unless the political class takes a conscious decision to say, look, we are going to take over this country and run it in such a way that we exercise control over our resources.
Ghana Beyond Aid is what the president says is a phrase for the way forward.
You see, I've taken exemption to that. There's so many things I don't agree with the MPP as a party. This is one of them. You know,
you don't think we should go beyond aid?
Look, you don't control your cocoa pricing. You don't control gold. You don't control timber.
Oil too.
You don't. So that's a vital source of resources. Now, if you don't control any of these things, and the taxable band of people in this country, in Britain, for instance, the taxable band is the majority. The people who actually, the revenue that is used to develop the country is from taxes. Now, here, how many people pay tax in this country?
1.2 million.
Out of how many?
Out of 26 million.
Precisely. So the resources, the money from there also is gone. So where are we going to get money to develop this country? If you give in to this odious nonsense that you don't want the aid, you get the aid. The aid itself is not a crime. But the application, the use, you put it.
But it's what matters. They fear that there are so many conditions that come with these aids. So we are better off as an independent state that should strive for economic independence by...
In poverty.
No, I mean, you are striving for economic independence by staying out of the shackles of the colonialists.
That's right. That's when we are shackled in.
Yeah.
You know, how do you break it? There are certain things that, in terms of policy, that we can consciously do to break from the chain of our collective poverty.
Do you see that happening now? Policies to help us break out of the chain of poverty.
Oh, sure. At some point it will happen. Whether tomorrow or the next day, I don't know.
I'm asking whether this government is doing some of those.
No, but when you decide not to take aid to help you to do that, and say, country without beyond aid. So what else do you have now to rule this country? Nobody has told me. Where is the money coming from? Where is the money coming from?
If we cut out corruption, we'll be getting like 4 billion each year.
Look,
if we cut out corruption, if you're also able to take off our resources properly,
listen, let me tell you,
we'll be able to deal with the things that are important.
It's very strange that it's coming from a conservative party, which is a party of business, party property owning. I call it property grabbers. You understand? You understand? And if you look at the source of corruption in this country, the greatest source of corruption is from businessmen. under invoicing and over invoicing of goods and trade.
Especially with the state.
Precisely, they under declare, or they don't even declare at all. And the state loses. And we have no means of getting money that we should be getting from these sources. You understand? This, for me, is more important than what Ananjachi say or is not saying. The businessmen on the invoicing and over-invoicing, go check it out. You'll be shocked with the finding how much Ghana loses from that kind of corruption. And nobody's quiet about it.
But if you say it's also a government linked with businesses, that means we might be doing very little in that direction, because how do you kill the businesses that you are linked to?
No, you don't kill them. You have to have, you see, when it comes to this, I blame our development partners, because they are aware of these things going on. Mm-hmm. And they put a blind eye on it, because some of these monies find themselves in the banks in Belgium, in London, in Paris, and so forth and so forth. They don't do anything about it. I was reading 2 weeks ago about the Santos record in Angola.
Yeah.
Look at the stash of money, billions that have been hidden, hide away in Portuguese banks. And nobody's bringing it back. He's walking around free. And people in Portugal are facing through garbages to eat. You see, that is the issue. That is the issue. We need to have the caliber of leadership that say no to this.
But the president is doing that.
I don't see it.
You don't see it?
No, I can't see it. Remember, he's also my classmate. I know him very well.
He was a classmate?
Yes, at Legon.
Okay.
You know, we went to Legon together and lived together.
That's interesting to know. You know. But why, you don't trust that he can deliver on these fronts? Because
but I haven't seen it.
His speeches show that.
Let me tell you one thing. Speeches alone don't change societies.
But there's action following it. That's why there's a special prosecutor. That's why he's reforming.
How long ago was it set up?
A few months ago.
A few months?
Yes.
And how much does it take? You know, we ruled this country for only 4 months.
Yeah.
And did a whole lot of things.
Including killing people.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Holding them to account under the law that we didn't even create.
Through kangaroo courts, anyway.
No kangaroo court, people's court. Look, the NLC, let me tell you, which was backed by Akufo-Addo's father and his ancestors, prosecuted people and jailed people with commissions of inquiry only.
But it's not right when you repeat it with
No, we didn't repeat it. We went away from that and set up people's court. It's not a kangaroo court. We allow people to pre-trial investigation team to investigate people, assets, and all, build out, and giving them the opportunity to defend it. That's not a kangaroo court. If you talk about kangaroo court, the NLC commissions of inquiry, NLC commissions was the kangaroo court.
Okay, but I want to move it to your good friend, Jerry John Rawlings.
Yes.
He's a hero today, isn't he?
Yes, because for some reason, you, the media, and development partners feel necessary to protect him. Look.
We feel necessary to protect him?
Yes.
Because he hasn't done anything wrong.
He hasn't done anything wrong.
Yes, of course.
Now, let me prove you.
Wait. Yes.
This is a book that I brought you to prove.
Yes.
Yes, I'll give you
The Catholic Orange Man of Togo.
Right.
Another conflict I have known.
Yeah.
This is Craig Murray.
That's right. Who, Deputy High Commissioner, British High Commissioner in Ghana.
Yes, what's exactly your point?
The point is that from page 124 to 125, he details corruption of Rawlings' household, running into millions.
Yeah.
More than what Anas is doing now. How many people have talked about it? The British government is not talking about it. It cost British government taxpayers £30 million for the money that was meant to build the Cocoa Hotel or whatever to be frittered away by them. It's all detailed there.
This is 99.
What do you mean?
Is it not too long from now?
What is too long? You know the amount involved. Then they have
I see 60 million here.
Yeah.
I see also some
60 million from a Senate, a taxpayer money,
yes.
to do something that should have been done with 30 million pounds from British taxpayer. All went away, and the agent, a credible agent, has put it in a book form, and nobody's talking about it. And Anas goes to interview somebody, and the whole country is
So you think former President Rawlings, who led the probity accountability charge, is corrupt?
That's my witness. I haven't seen him challenge this book anywhere. That indictment in it is searing. If you like, read it.
Would you want state agencies to probe this matter?
No state agency. The development authorities must put pressure on the government to go into this matter.
How do you then feel when he talks about corruption in the NDC, corruption in government?
That is the hypocrisy that I talked about. He's not even being smart about it. Because if you have something like this published, because you know that some people like I will know, and you accuse other people without even naming them. When he tackles Kufuor, remember Kufuor is not my friend.
Yeah.
You know.
You have very few friends in this country.
I've never met him in my life.
Really?
Yes. The only thing he has done, communicating with us, after I had spoken at the National Reconciliation Commission, in fairness, he rang me in my hotel.
Okay.
And said, Coach, young man, you know the way he's in booming voice, thank you for what you have done. It's good for my country, it's good for our country, it's good for the party, and it's good for the Constitution. That's the only form of communication I've had with him.
I'll talk to you about that particular Reconciliation Commission,
yes.
But I want to know about the Jeronis case in this case.
But
so
that
when you see these things,
yes,
and you hear what he says, that's what you consider to be hypocrisy.
That's what. He's not even being smart about it. He's not even being smart. When I say smart, I don't say it's foolish. He's not being smart about it. Because if you are aware that this thing has happened, doubling houses he bought, all the accusations are in this book.
But these are just mere accusations, to be fair.
Why are they queuing to watch Anas? It's also until it's proven.
Yes.
It's an accusation.
Yes.
So if he's good enough to lap and cry over what Anas is doing, it's good enough to hold Rawlings to account on a book that has been written by the Deputy British High Commissioner in Ghana.
I get your point. My other point I want to find out from you is the complaint from the... I mean, now he doesn't accuse many, except those in the NDC, of corruption, of...
and he has has he given any evidence of anybody in NDC being
But the former president doesn't just talk anyhow.
He talks anyhow. That's what I'm trying to prove. That he has he ever given any evidence of any NDC leader corrupt to the tune of this and that? Have you ever heard from him?
He has alleged several occasions.
It's not the allegation that yes. Allegation without proof, without foundation. That's what I'm worrying me. I have come in here, wrongly or wrongly, I'm quoting a credible source that has leveled accusation of threatening 60 million
That's interesting.
pounds and a snake another 30 million pounds.
Yeah.
That is specific.
That's from the Royal Bank of Scotland.
Exactly.
To construct two hotels, Palm Hotel and Cocoa Palm.
Correct. You see? And where are they?
One's supposed to be at the Labadi Beach Hotel. The other is supposed to be on the 4th Circular Road at Cantonments.
Correct.
Where the former Star Hotel is supposed to be.
Are they there?
I can't see them. I have not seen them.
Correctly. And yet, 30 million pounds of British taxpayer money went into it and was written off. And then we went to dip our hand into our own taxpayers'
pension money.
Pension money, and before the thing could be constructed.
But the NDC is in a bad shape, isn't it?
Who?
The NDC.
It's not in a bad shape.
The NDC suffered an electoral defeat not long ago. It's
look, it's
leaking.
Oh, wait.
The former president says that it needs to be reconstructed.
It's your
the corrupt report to be taken out.
It is your media and our opponents' construction. Let me tell you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if we have contested 8 times, Second Republic.
Yes.
We have won 4.
Yeah.
And only MPP, our opponents, are in the 3rd leg.
Yeah.
So how do you say that the NDC is leaking? We are going back to our winning ways 2020. Mark my way.
Who will lead the party then?
Oh, we have set up a process.
Yes, but you know if you have a leader, the
what do you mean by
most obvious person who's supposed to lead the party now will be former President John Dramani Mahama.
And he is not an obvious leader?
The former President Jerry John Rawlings insists that he's corrupt. He has not followed the right to be...
Where is his evidence?
But do you doubt him?
I say, until I get an evidence like I've been leveled against him in a book published form, I don't believe a word of what he's saying. I don't believe it.
But some members are begging him. The National Women's Organizer, immediate past first...
I'm glad that you raised this issue.
She went to beg. She went on the knees to beg.
That should be a wake-up call.
To who?
For the party.
That is not beg Rawlings?
That Rawlings is not capable of being appeased. If you don't appease him, if you appease him like Hitler, he will ask for more. Look,
without having to appease him, without begging him, you don't win an election. Jerry Rawlings is
where's your
proof
proof?
That your soul...
Let me tell you. Apart from the
92, 96, 2000.
He was involved in the first two anti-trust,
yes.
so he fought for himself.
Yeah.
Mills, he never campaigned for us, we won. Yes.
But people voted for Geron's not because he didn't campaign.
Wait.
His spirit surrounds the party.
That's not true. There's no evidence.
Your party's constitution says that it was founded on his principles.
He didn't campaign for us. That's a fact. I'm not.
Yes, I'm told he didn't.
He didn't.
Yeah.
Yes, and yet we won. So there is nobody can prove to me that we can't win 2020 without him.
But
so you go and appease,
your advice.
You go and appease him. Look at what happened to Anna D'Souza or whatever.
Anita D'Souza.
Here is a woman, a married woman, kneels down in front of you, appeal to you. You ignore all that and start rubbishing her in public. On the same vein that you are complaining about NDC people rubbishing your wife. Does it make sense to you? Does it make sense to you or any listener who was watching that? The same person who on the same platform had complained about NDC people roughing him and the wife. And somebody's wife, publicly rubbished.
Well, I mean, because I'm running out of time, there are some other issues that I want us to also touch on because they are very important to this conversation. The way forward for Ghana, in your case, is to be able to build its own commodity base so that we can add value to the
move away from that, add value to our commodities and control the production and the values and the money that can allow to develop.
Can this government do that?
I'm not too sure about
President
that.
Akufo-Addo
No, the Conservative Party led throughout the world.
I know that political ideology is merely semantics.
It's not an ideology. Ideology is attitude of mind. You see, if you want to do something and you don't believe in what you're doing, you can't produce results.
But this is the political party that started virtually all the social protection programs, right from...
They moved into the wrong direction. Social protection is a policy of the left.
Yes.
It's not a policy of the right. So they stole our belief system, deceive the people and won the election. They can't deliver.
Under the NDC, programs like the National Health Insurance suffered greatly. It was near collapse at some point in time. How do you justify to the people that your
Who is
party,
saying it? Who is saying it?
Oh, reports all over the place.
But you are forgetting about the single spine program.
Oh, that single spine?
Yeah.
It was probably the most problematic of all public sector places in the country.
Let me tell you why it was so problematic.
Which one? Ghana Investor
let me tell you. Now, people are complaining about there's no money in the system. During Mohammed's time, nobody complained about there's no money in the system. You know why?
Because nobody complained?
No. I'm telling you why. Because if you put we increase the salary of a soldier or a public servant, the kenke seller on the roadside also increases the ball of kenke. so
it is commensurate with the increase.
Income distribution.
Okay.
It's our strength. And we are going to push this country beyond aid.
Do you regret having been part of the AFRC?
No.
Do you regret having been part of anything that Jeron has led?
No.
You don't regret it?
What do you mean? They're two different things.
Yes, I first said, do you regret?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You want to qualify that.
Yes, and I qualified
because
Jeronson led the AFRC at a point in time.
And led the PNDC too.
Yes.
And I don't agree with the PNDC.
I agree perfectly with you. So I'm asking, do you regret being part of a grouping that Jeron was part of? That's the AFRC.
I had wished. No. AFRC, we did what we had to set out to do. We may have made mistakes, but I even doubt it. We came in and said, look, we are here to do a specific thing for 4 months, and we quit. In fact, we did it with 1 week to spare.
Even though when you were coming, you were aware that there was going to be elections, right?
Sure, but elections to elect leaders who will not have lasted 6 months in power. See, some of us went in and we tried to set up a coalition rule. Arrangement. The politicians actually defeated it. And that's why we are in trouble we are in today.
The National Reconciliation Commission, was it a worthwhile exercise?
Yes and no.
Yes, why?
Yes, in the sense that it let people, created a window of opportunity for people to see what has gone on with our government over the years.
Yeah.
No, because it did not allow people to be held to account.
Oh, you want people to be held to account?
Sure. If you correct the mistake,
there's some immunity with having to come and say.
If you have done the right thing, why do you need an immunity for? I was involved in AFRC, which
So
it's endorsed, which is endorsed even by the 1992 Constitution, that if you ever took part in overthrowing a constitutionally elected government, you committed a crime of high treasonable offense, and on conviction, you must suffer death. There was nobody who was executed in June 4 who had never played a role in Ghana Constitution, who had not flaunted the laws of Ghana. So if we go ahead and hold them to account, where did I go wrong? Where did we go wrong? The law says the criminal code 1960, when it was enacted, I was in secondary school.
Yeah.
Section 12A. It's still there.
I get you. Yes, it's there.
It has been repeated in constitutions
all the time.
Including 92 Constitution. So why do you set up, Kufuor is his own enemy?
Really?
Yeah, because if he had allowed proper accounting to be made and punishments to be meted out on the Reconciliation Commission, there are certain things going on in this country that won't go on.
Should we reopen up the Reconciliation Commission?
It's not a should. The country can only move forward if we look backwards and correct the mistakes that we have done. We have to do them.
Correction of specifically which mistake?
Oh, if somebody had committed a high crime, treasonable offense, and you allow him to walk around.
Gerrans is the only person who actually did the coup d'etat who is protected by the indemnity clauses. Are you for removal of the indemnity clauses?
No, I'm for. It's not necessary. If you have done nothing wrong, you don't need an indemnity to cover you. You understand me?
I get you.
Yes, I've done nothing wrong, so I don't need indemnity to cover me. I allowed, restore the Constitution, enforce the restoration of the Constitution of Ghana in 1979, June 4. That's the basis of it. If you don't understand that, you won't understand anything about what we do.
You sound patriotic. Do you think Ghanaians are as patriotic as you are?
Well, they can speak for themselves. I can only speak for myself.
But when you see the young people of today, do you think they have the same level of patriotism that you had? Willing to die for the state?
Wait, because you see, the society is moving in a direction that they have not been made to enjoy. They have not been made to enjoy the kind of opportunities that we did.
Okay.
Like for instance, when I was going to university, every term they will give us 30 million.
Oh, okay.
Free of charge.
You're enjoying.
So we were expected to put something back.
Okay.
Now all these things have been taken away. And I warn you. Let me sound a warning. When we are cooning over Anas. You know how many people are taking BCC this week?
Yes, 509,000.
How many of them will go on to Wasi?
The expectation is that 490 is supposed to go. It's just a small number supposed to be left out because of the free SHS program.
By the history, yes.
That was by 100,000 that gets dropped out.
Yeah. What is going to happen to the rest?
They will drop out.
Correct. Now, what happened to the people who go to SS and don't get into job?
70% dropout also.
That's right. And the graduates. Now we have a graduate unemployment association in this country.
Yes, we are trying to find them jobs.
You are trying.
Yeah.
Now it's like a water overflowing. If you are not careful, and this joblessness,
okay, we
don't do anything about it, and the water overflows, June 4th will be a chicken soup.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming in today. Osani Boachija was my guest. We looked at the Anas video and corruption in Ghana and general governance issues from a man who has so much experience for a very long time. Thank you so much for joining us on UPfront today.
Thank you.